What's up? I'm B and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about Heidi Powell because I realized that I've done a few videos about Rachel and Dave and kind of where they're moving in their lives post-divorce, and in the midst of those videos I've spoken about Heidi, but I don't think I've ever formally introduced her. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you some background on who Heidi is. Heidi is, of course, Dave's new-ish girlfriend. She's in the public sphere as well. She has been in the public sphere long before she met Dave. And so we're going to go over some of her background. And then I want to talk about just a few things that she's doing currently, which are really concerning to me, considering she is the girlfriend of someone who is apparently going through something so serious that they were seen at a treatment center, and that they have publicly announced that they are taking a step back from social media. So let's go ahead and just get into it. Heidi Powell is somewhat of a hometown girl if you live in Arizona. She was born March 28th, 1982 in Flagstaff, Arizona. She was married to Chris Powell for about 10 years. They did the extreme weight loss show together where they were the coaches on there. She and her ex-husband Chris do also have a protein powder company that they run together, and I've taken a look at it because she was promoting it on her stories one day, and the flavors sound really good, but it's all whey protein, so that's a no for me. Just thought it was something interesting. Anyway, like I said, they were married for about 10 years. They got divorced in 2020. And prior to that, she was married to someone else. And overall, she has 4 children. Hello, I'm popping in here randomly because this is something that I forgot to go over the first round of filming. Heidi is also hosting a retreat. It's called Show Up: Finding, Creating, Becoming You. And that's going to be in a few weeks. It's April 4th through the 6th in Chandler. I'm not going to go over everything that's going on with this event because it's sold out. I don't need to give a critique of oh, hey, here's some pros, here's some cons. What do you guys think? Would you get a ticket? It's sold out. It's really irrelevant. But I just want to show you a few things. This is the schedule. Finding you, creating you, becoming you, plus have an amazingly fun time. So I feel like our time is going to be spent really well. I feel very confident on what my day is going to look like, when meals are going to be, what kind of breakout sessions we'll have. I feel like this is a really clear explanation of what I can expect. Here's the thing that really bugs me about this kind of event being hosted by Heidi is that it doesn't appear that it's a fitness event. It's not something where it's like a boot camp weekend or a wellness weekend. It's about becoming you, creating you, finding you. What credentials do you have to be running any sort of event like this, Heidi? Heidi recently posted that her mom got her a shirt that was ringmaster of the show. So why are you somebody who's qualified to host a weekend like this? But let's get to the most ridiculous part. Let's get to the part that will have you go, you're joking. Because I'm not joking. And when I saw this, I was like, no, this has to be for a week-long event at least. It would still be overpriced, but it's for a week-long event. At least I'm reading this wrong. Nope, April 4th through the 6th. I present to you the pricing. Event ticket, $1,197. Attending all 3 days of the event and participate in all activities. VIP ticket, $3,697. Attending all 3 days of the event and participate in all activities. VIP lunch with Heidi and Dave during the event, exclusive Sunday night dinner and party, red carpet airport transportation, one-on-one coaching call after the event. Oh, thank you. Thank you for all the personalized attention, Heidi. Wednesday lunch and event send-off. First of all, why is Dave going to this? Why is Dave participating in this? He's supposed to be focusing on himself. Number 2, this price does not even include lodging because she wants you to stay at the Hilton nearby where the event is happening, and you have to click to book externally and it gives you a separate price. Literally, for 1 king it's $139 per night, for 2 queens it's $149 per night, and you have to book by March 5th. I hope all of the people who purchased tickets and made it sold out find that it was a worthy investment. I hope that they get something out of it. Apparently these were like super limited tickets. There were not very many. And I can only hope that this was a super limited number of tickets that were available, because that's fewer people that would be out good money for a bad conference. And like, that's the thing is crazy, is Heidi has been in this business for a long time. Not the personal development business, but like social media, TV, public speaking, being a public figure, hosting events, being a coach. Like, she's been in this sort of world for a really long time. But every time I watch her stories, or I look at her Instagram, or I read something about her, I just feel like she's somebody who doesn't have it together. Like, I just feel like she's somebody who's grasping at curtains, and like every time she like reaches for it, another ring snaps and she can just never climb up. It's like she slipped in water on the bathroom floor, and she's just hanging on trying to get up because for some reason she can't like dry her feet off and stand. I just, everything about her feels chaotic to me. And it's very unsettling. It's not a very confidence inspiring presence to where I would see her and be like, wow, I want to go to one of her events. But that's just me. Heidi's lived kind of a full and vibrant life. She's got her own kids. She has her own endeavors. She's done a lot of things. She's kind of been like a go, go, go kind of girl. I remember even being in high school seeing news articles written about Heidi that were published in the local paper. So she's a well-known person depending on the sphere that you run in. And something interesting, because she's been on TV so many times, and she's made appearances on like The Doctors, Dr. Oz, different daytime TV shows to talk about fitness and other experiences. She has this IMDb page, and from what it seems, she wrote her own biography on the IMDb page. It says written by Heidi Powell. I don't know if this was written by her team, but because it's her name attached to it, I automatically think that like, oh, she wrote this about herself. And I think it's kind of interesting when you hear somebody and hear the way that they speak about themselves or their accomplishments. And it's so good to be confident, to be proud of yourself, to be like, I did an amazing thing. But to literally go on and do an IMDb biography for yourself instead of just like having somebody on your team do it, or in all reality, probably not even being concerned that there's no autobiography on the IMDb page because it's IMDb. I mean, if I had as much going on as Heidi does or did whenever she wrote this, I would not be concerned about an IMDb page. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and read it to you because I think it's interesting. Heidi Powell was the co-host of ABC's hit show Extreme Weight Loss, working side by side Chris Powell to carry out their vision of transforming lives from the inside out. Editing check. Heidi was the matriarch and tour de force for the often struggling participants, serving as their daily fitness coach, voice of reason, and biggest cheerleader. Heidi is the co-author of Choose More, Lose More for Life by Chris Powell, which was released in May 2013 and immediately soared to New York Times bestseller list. The book offers readers 4 different carb cycles and 20 new workouts called 9-minute missions that pack maximum results into minimum time. The Powells released their latest book in December 2015 entitled Extreme Transformation, Lifelong Weight Loss in 21 Days, which provides a comprehensive blueprint for changing your body and life in just 21 days. Heidi writes a very successful blog where her posts include workout tips, recipes, as well as advice on parenting and how to balance it all. She has contributed articles to the Huffington Post as well as Women's Health, Self, and Shape magazines. Heidi has over a decade of experience as a personal trainer. She holds both ACE and CrossFit certifications. She is co-founder of the Transform app and supplement line, as well as Athea Skincare. That website is still up and running. Recently, she has expanded her portfolio of offerings into the personal development space, where Heidi coaches thousands through their personal life transformations using her inside-out approach. When not traveling, she resides in Phoenix with her 4 children. Like I said, I don't know for a fact that she wrote this, even though her name is on it, because it really could have just been somebody from her team. But the way that some of these things are phrased a little bit awkwardly and just kind of the complimentary nature of it makes me think that she did write it. And not that a team wouldn't compliment you. Your team would for sure make you sound as good as possible, but just the way the compliments are given sounds odd to me. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it does in my head. And also, I'm not an editor, so maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. But let me know if you get what I'm trying to say down below. Moving on though, this is not going to be a comprehensive breakdown and analysis of Heidi's entire past up until meeting Dave. I am sure there's a ton we could dive into, so please do let me know if you would like that. But the last thing I will say before we get into these posts that I want to talk about is that Heidi has promoted both Modare and Monate on not only her own website, but also on her YouTube channel, and has said that they're great products and they're very helpful to her. So just something to think about when you are considering the actions of somebody who, one, is used to having a lot of attention, whether it be through traditional media or social media, somebody who's used to living their life very publicly and online, someone who is by all means a hustler. And I feel like every time I call somebody a hustler, it's in a negative way, but it doesn't always have to be. You know, you can be somebody who is like, I know what I want, I have my goals, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, and I'm going to hustle and I'm going to make it happen. And I think that that's a very positive attitude to have. I admire people who know what they want and will do what it takes to go get it. But we often see in the social media world of hustling where it's people kind of setting their morals aside in order to get the thing that they want, or in order to get rich, get famous, have all of these streams of income. You know, it's the same with Brittany Dawn, how she promotes Arbonne, and she has a link that you can use. Wow, isn't that magical? You know, she didn't join Arbonne to promote it, but she loves this foundation, and if you want it too, here it is. And like, that's kind of the same thing that Heidi's done. I don't think she's out here recruiting people and trying to build a team on Monate, but all it takes is, oh, you know, do you like my hair? Because I love my hair and I love the products that I use. And, you know, you don't have to buy it from me, but if you want to use the same thing I use, here's a link. And I don't like that. Now, on to the post that I want to have a bit of a conversation about. On January 30th, Dave Hollis posted 10 slides of text to his Instagram feed talking about how he was going through a really hard time. He was struggling, he needed help, and he was going to take time off of social media. Now, I can't say that many of us were optimistic that he would actually follow through with this. You know, the assumption was like, well, you know, yeah, you probably are struggling with these things because Rachel essentially outed you for living a double life because you were struggling with something and didn't tell her or your family. You know, so we believe that you're having this struggle, but we're not really sure that you're going to stay offline. I think it was a very convenient time for the post because speculation says that the Congruent conference that he was supposed to be hosting with Wade King was probably not selling as well as they thought it would, and so maybe Dave was looking for an out, and that's why he posted it when he did. I don't know what Dave's struggling with, but it's very clear that he is struggling with something. I've spoken about this before. It's really hard to have empathy for Dave sometimes because you look at him and you're like, okay, you're a cis, straight, white male, had a great job, was able to hire nannies so your wife could focus on her dreams and her careers. You have beautiful kids. Your wife grew this massive business. You guys made so much money. You know, you had all of these amazing things, and some of them kind of crumbled because of your actions, because of the things that you did, because you were not being the kind of spouse that your wife needed. And you know, sometimes marriages fall apart. Sometimes people make the choice that they don't want to be with that person anymore, and there's nothing you can do about it. But we kind of know that while he was in the marriage, he was not meeting Rachel's needs based on what she has publicly shared, and not even just like since the divorce. When they were happily married, some of the things that she said about him in her books were major red flags, right? So we have that going on. And then we also have the fact that you are not qualified in any way whatsoever to run any sort of self-help business at all. And yet you did, and you guys did these couples conferences. So you can't really blame anybody but yourself and Rachel when that model kind of crumbles. And so when you're looking at it like that, it's hard to be like, wow, Dave must be really struggling. But on a human level, obviously, we have to have empathy. We have to hold on to that part of ourselves that still sees another human struggling and understands that that's really hard. Even if we can't do anything about it, even if we have an issue with how they've behaved in the past, we have to have that core empathy of just like, man, that sucks. And I hope the people who are around you, who love you and want you to get better, are able to support you. And I hope that you're able to make the progress that you need to make, which is what leads me to the things that I want to talk about. So when Dave announced this whole break from social media, Heidi was posting a lot about it. She was posting things that were just kind of cryptic about like life changes and learning who's there for you when times get tough. There was a lot of speculation on whether or not they had broken up because of these issues that Dave was facing, but ultimately they did not. And since that time, since January 30th, Heidi has been posting a lot on her stories and including Dave in those posts. And not even just the posts in her stories. She runs a fitness group and they're doing a challenge right now, and he's been in those live streams. I'm going to give you a few examples of some of the things that she's posting with him. First, we've got this image of Heidi wearing sunglasses, and you can see Dave leaning over in the reflection. And her caption says, "And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years," with the I love you hand, which a lot of people do like to bring up, like, that's kind of Rachel's thing, isn't it? That's interesting. And, she quotes or credits Abe Lincoln and then says, "Sending love to those in pain today. Broken heart emoji. Man, life is unfair and also short for some. This quote gives me peace in all of it. What a great reminder to say what you mean when you mean it. Do your life the way you want. Spend it with the people you love and love you back, and to block out the noise of those who don't matter." I think that that's a beautiful message, but it's just very weird to me that you can literally see Dave leaning over in the sunglasses. And I'm sure this was part of a video, and so it wasn't just like this picture, because you can see her hair kind of flipping in the wind. To me, like a lot of the things she does, it's kind of like she's subtly trying to mention that Dave's with her without like full on featuring him. There are some where she's full on featuring him, but a lot of them it's just like you get kind of a glimpse of Dave. I cannot say this next post on the Hollis Uncensored subreddit for some reason, but there we go. I just got it out. This next one, the title is, "So now Chris brings over the Tesla so Heidi and the kids can make TikToks and Dave is just a bystander in his life." So you've got Dave right there just looking very awkward, and then the next one is her saying, "I love these kids so much," and tagging her kids with a picture of Dave. Next one is her posting a picture of one of her Zoom calls from her fitness group, and Dave is literally right there. And she doesn't mention him. She says, "Another massively successful nutrition education class tonight with my team and our lovely peeps, talking all about macro counting, flexible dieting, and balanced living." But then she also has another post with this same like Zoom meeting where they're singing happy birthday to Dave. So I have one more post I want to show you, but just so far, my thought is, why? Like, first of all, him being posted in stories. If somebody is taking time away from social media and taking time off of social media, I would try to be really careful about how much social media interaction I was having in front of them. I would probably try not to do stories in front of them, because they might feel like, oh, you're doing a story? Okay, I'm on. I'm ready. I'm ready to go. What do you need? Like, they might get very uncomfortable, or they might not pretend to be on. They might just stand there and feel even more uncomfortable that you're filming while they're not engaging in the charade. They're not playing their role because they need to step away from social media, and you're not respecting that boundary. And that's the thing for me, is like, I get that Heidi is such an oversharer on social media. Just some of the things I've seen her post, I'm like, why is that on here? What is this? Because you're just so used to having everything documented, you just like it, you think it's fun, you think it's silly, or is that you think this is something that like really needs to be shared? Because at the end of the day, social media just isn't that serious. And I guess I'm trying to be understanding because I feel like a lot of her job does involve being on social media and does involve keeping up engagement and keeping people interested, keeping people on her stories all the time. So that way, if she has a challenge that goes live, people can sign up and they're already checking, they're in there because she's in their algorithm. And so I do have an understanding of that. However, Heidi was on a network TV show. Heidi is an author. Heidi has a protein powder business. Heidi has a skincare business. I feel like maybe, just maybe, we can take a few weeks off from posting as frequently, or maybe even posting at all, to make sure that we are fully being there to support our partner while they're going through whatever they're going through. You know, I don't understand why, if something is so severely wrong in Dave's life that he has to take a social media break and make it like this big announcement, maybe you take that seriously and maybe you say, okay, let's stop the presses. Something's going on. How do you need me to be there for you? And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But maybe you separate yourself from that person, because that shows me that you're not invested in their best interest. You don't want the best outcome for them, because if you did, you wouldn't be continually doing stories around them or finding ways to sneak them into your posts or having them in your fitness challenge group, having them in this live stream. Why is Dave there? Why is Dave on Zoom? I get that that's not him posting a story or going live on his Instagram, but that's still him being involved with social media. That's still him having an obligation, which in his post he said, I need to step away from all of my obligations other than working on myself. That is what I need to do. I don't need to be here for anything else because I'm having such a tough time. So Heidi, why the heck is he in there? Tell him, I love you. I want you here so badly. I'm going to miss you so much, but I respect your needs and I'm going to, let you off the hook for this. I don't care if you started this challenge with me. Your mental health is more important. Let's move on to the next post. Heidi did a Valentine's Day live stream on Facebook Live that Dave was there for, not just there for, but also participating in. And depending on how you first saw this video, I feel like you're gonna fall on one of two sides, because I've seen it posted twice. There's one side where it's like, oh my God, Heidi, get a grip, get a clue, like get the camera out of his face, what are you doing? And then there's the other side that's like, wow, Dave really is a jerk. Dave really is mean. I don't like Heidi, but nobody should be treated like that. And I'm smashed up in the middle. I do think Dave is being mean in this video clip, and I do think that he's being rude and he shouldn't have spoken to Heidi in that way. But I also feel like he's probably under an immense amount of pressure, and he has made it known that he's struggling with something, that he needs help with something, and you're just carrying on like you're a high schooler in love and everything's great and it's so fun and I'm such a mess, I'm still in PJs, and even though it's 3 o'clock and look at Dave's here and look at my son wants to spend the weekend with me even though it's his dad's time, and goofy, when this is some real life stuff. Like, this is stuff that broke apart a marriage, not the entire reason. But like Rachel said, like, this thing caused Dave to act in a way that was so disingenuous and so deceitful that it contributed to the end of their marriage. Of course, there were other factors, but the fact that Dave was struggling so hard and didn't openly talk about it and didn't ask for help contributed to the distrust. And she's like, okay, so you were leading a double life. This is over. And that's oversimplifying it, but you get what I'm saying. Now we have Dave being open about it with his partner and saying he needs the help from what we can see. And I don't think she's taking it seriously. So I'll just go ahead and show you the clip.
Got a new one last time, and the time before, and the time before.
If we ever do a canned food drive, though, we're ready. We're ready.
It's not canned. Does it have to be canned for canned food drive?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not really ever going to do a canned food drive. It was more of a thing you say to get a laugh than it is a real thing, but now you've ruined it because I can't take it. All right.
Oh, boy.
Happy birthday to me.
Tell me how uncomfortable that clip made you feel, because it literally feels like when you're a kid and you're riding in the car with somebody else's parents and they start fighting and you don't know what their dynamics are. So you're like, is this gonna be, are we still gonna go to Sonic and get tots? Are they like, are we gonna be good? Are we okay? This is so uncomfortable. And yeah, Dave is so rude to Heidi in that clip. I don't know why you would say like, oh, well, a canned food drive. Like, to be honest, I'm never going to do a canned food drive. It was a joke and now you ruined it. Happy birthday to me. Dave, that's not nice. But also, Heidi, you are contributing to an environment of toxicity. I don't understand why Heidi is doing this. I really don't get it. I do not understand how she thinks any of these things are helpful for Dave. How does she think acting this way, having him on stories, having him literally do a live stream with her and participate in these fitness challenges is a good idea? To me, it's signifying that she is not really being clear in what would be helpful to Dave. And what's the reason for that? Is it because she's self-centered and doesn't really like want to think about what would be helpful to Dave? Like she hasn't even thought like to take a step back and be like, is this hurting him? Or is it because she's like, well, I don't care if it hurts him. I got to post. I got to stay in the algorithm. I got protein powder to sell. Either way, though, I don't like it. It's very uncomfortable to me. It makes me feel like she's not looking out for his best interest and she's just kind of trying to stay with him so that way it's not another breakup. It's not one more thing to add to the list of crap that goes wrong. I really don't know, but I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I want to know if you think this is appropriate or inappropriate for her to be posting pictures and videos of him and having him on live streams despite his post. And if you were Dave, how you would feel about all that. So leave that in the comments down below. While you're doing that, if you would consider liking this video or subscribing to my channel, that would be incredible. I do also have my email link down below, so if you have any content suggestions, you can feel free to email hihoneyyt@gmail.com. That is there for you to share those suggestions, as well as if you have a story that you want to share with the audience, feel free to send it my way. And if you are already subscribed, thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you, and I love being able to just sit here, hang out with you, and talk about whatever. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you so much for watching. Please be kind to people, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.